Welcome to the 13th episode of the Nordic Sports News Podcast, the world's first cross-country ski and biathlon podcast, with daily news from around the globe. We start our news today with the Russian cross-country ski team. The Russian team will select their last athletes for the cross-country World Cup in the Finnish cross-country ski races next weekend. In Oulu, Finland, just outside Muonio, near the Swedish border, Russia will select its last athletes for the first stages of the cross-country ski World Cup. There will be no suspense for the men. As coach Yuri Borodovko has just declared to the TASS agency, 7 skiers have already been selected. The 8th is Andrei Larkov, the winner of the Continental Cup, he added. The list remains to be completed for sprinters and women. Among those registered are the Russians including Evgeny Belov, Artem Maltsev, Sergei Ueshagov, Gleb Rytayvik, Alexander Besmertnik, Elisa Zumbalova, Kristina Matsokina, Anastasia Kirilova, Valeria Davidzenka, and Hanna Karalyova. There will also be Norwegians, like Erik Valnes, Daniel Stock and Finn Hagen-Kroh. We can also mention the Finns Krista Parmakoski, Ivo Niskanen and Rita-Lisa Raponen. Japanese, Canadians, a Mexican, Juan Carlos Ayala Zavaleta, and even a Kenyan, Dennis Morange, the Australian Emma Watson and the Austrian Teresa Stadtweber will also take the start. Italians Federico Pellegrino and Francesco De Fabiani will be training with the Russians until November 22. They will be at the start. They will then meet their coach Francois Ronc-Sella in Ruka for the opening of the season. On the other hand, Alexander Bolshanov will be absent. The program for the FIS races in Muonio. Friday, November 12, Classic Sprint. Saturday, November 13, 10 km Classic, Women, 15 km Classic, Men. Sunday, November 14, 10 km Freestyle, Women, 15 km Freestyle, Men. Now, we talk about the USA Biathlon Team. North Americans land in Europe before the first races. The Americans will be training in Obertillich in Austria before the start of the Biathlon World Cup. The team for the EBU Cup is already known. US Biathlon has just announced the list of its athletes who will come to Europe to participate in the Biathlon pre-World Cup camp scheduled in Obertillich, Austria. It will start on November 11, under the leadership of national team coaches Armin Oschenthaler and Vegard Bittens. Before the first stage in Östersund, Sweden, the Americans will finish their preparation on the snow. At the end of this gathering, those who will take the start of the first races will be selected. Called in, Susan Dunkley, Claire Egan, Joanne Reed, Deidre Irwin and Kelsey Dickinson in the women's side, Leif Nordgren and Sean Doherty in the men's. They will be joined by Paul Schammer, Jake Brown, and Vasek Cervenka. We already know the biathletes who will compete in the first stages of the EBU Cup from Idre, Sweden, November 25 to 28, and Sjursjön, Norway, December 1 to 4. They are Chloe Levens, Hallie Grossman, Lena Farah, Max Sturchy, Vincent Bonacci, and Luke Brown. Now, another earlier opener for the winter. Engadin, Switzerland, opens the cross-country skiing season. The snowfall at the beginning of the week enables a particularly early start to the cross-country skiing season in the Upper Engadin. Several cross-country trails around Seals opened on Friday, November 5. In addition, a personal Engadin cross-country season pass is being launched this season. Thanks to abundant snowfall at the beginning of the week and in the commitment of the cross-country skiers, several cross-country ski trails around Seals, over 50 kilometers in total, were already opened on Friday. The municipality's endeavor, provided the snow and temperature situation allows, to prepare further sections of the route as quickly as possible and, if necessary, to open further sections at the weekend. During the main season, cross-country skiers have more than 240 kilometers of trails at their disposal. To achieve this, an average of 13 people work around 8,000 hours per season and drive 45,000 kilometers through Engadin with their cross-country skiing vehicles, explains Jan Steiner, Engadin brand manager at Engadin St. Moritz Tourism. The current offer and the condition of the trails are always online in the trail report. The new Engadin cross-country season pass replaces the Engadin pin with immediate effect and, like the day and week pass, is available in the holiday shop, at the checkpoints on the cross-country ski trail and at the information points. The season pass is available in advance until December 15, 2021 for 70 Swiss francs and then for 80 Swiss francs. Passport holders can now register and receive a replacement pass free of charge if they are lost. The season pass also contains information on using the cross-country trails and other important information about cross-country skiing in the Ongodina. Cross-country opening in Pontosina. The popular cross-country opening takes place in Pontosina at the end of the month. From November 27th to 30th and from December 1st to 4th, 2021, ambitious athletes and cross-country skiers will meet again to kick off the season together. During the 3-day event, participants benefit from a total of 6 hours of cross-country skiing lessons in various strength groups and other amenities. Registration and information at pontosina.ch. Now, we turn our heads to the Swedish cross-country skiers, Ebba Andersson and Linn Svahn. We start with Ebba Andersson and her bad experience at high altitude at the Tour de Ski. It was a lesson. Many national teams have decided in the summer to train at high altitude to allow the athletes to get used to the Beijing Olympics. In fact, skiing at heights of 1,700 or 1,800 meters can play tricks on even great champions, if you don't adapt immediately. Ebba Andersson knows something about it, who lost the Tour de Ski in the first few outings last year, precisely because of the failure to adapt to the altitude. With the absence of the Norwegian national team, Andersson was probably the athlete to beat together with compatriot Frida Karlsson and the Americans Diggins and Brennan. But once they reached Valmuster, despite feeling fit, the 97 class began to struggle. Ebba did not pass the sprint qualification, and then closed the mass start in 12th place and the pursuit in 18th place. After just 3 races, she was already more than 2 minutes from the Tour de Ski lead. At SVT, in the documentary on the Swedish team, Andersson talked about that experience, which will be very important for her from an Olympic point of view. Before the tour, I realized I was in good shape. That's why it was so scary for me not to find myself and my body up there. And when the form and the results failed, doubts arrived. Today, however, the Swede looks at that experience with the conviction that she has learned a lot from a Beijing perspective, when she will compete at 1,700 meters. When I think back, it was a great lesson. To gain experience and see what I need during the preparation to be able to compete at high altitude. In the end, Ebba Andersson had already found herself during that Tour de Ski, winning the first success of her career on the Surface. Now, we bring new details about Svahn's shoulder injury. Linn Svahn's shoulder injury made her big goal last season, the World Cup in Oberstdorf in February, disappointing. The SVT documentary series Best When It Comes to reveals new information about what the injury situation looked like during the championship. I will not lie, I was at the gym and did rehab during the World Cup, says Linn Svahn in the documentary. Linn Svahn is still dragged with the sweets by the shoulder injury she sustained during a fall at the World Cup in Ulricehamn on February 6. But she did not know then that the injury would be so prolonged, during the World Cup in Oberstdorf. In the SVT documentary series, you get to follow how the realization of not being able to do yourself justice at the championship sinks in with the 21-year-old. In the documentary, national team manager Anders Bistrom says that Linn Svahn was not hampered by her injury at the championship. At the same time, the skier herself says that she was at the gym and did rehab during the World Cup week. And that may not be what you should do when you should be in your element. I was not good enough during the World Cup. Why? Yes, maybe I know that, but not everyone needs to know that, says Svahn. She also explains in the documentary why she chose to avoid the media and not openly talk about the injury situation. People may be pissed that I do not show up for interviews, that it may be selfish not to share. At the same time, it is a principle I want to adhere to, and I feel that I must belong to myself, not to everyone. Successful operation, but the Olympics far away. On September 9, the cross-country national team announced that Linn Svahn had undergone an operation on the shoulder and that it should have gone well. At the same time, the Sprint Stars coach Ola Ravel's assessment is that it will be difficult for Svahn to get in shape for the Olympics in Beijing in February 2022. We knew that she was affected by the injury during the World Cup, but not how much, only she herself knew. And one must not forget that Linn did very well during the World Cup even though she felt that she was not at the top, says national team manager Anders Bistrom to SVT Sport during a press conference that was arranged on October 7. Now, to wrap up our news today, we bring the result from the Finnish Cup opener, held today on Vuokatti, Finland. Vuokatti ski team Kainu won with the team relay today with Jasmine Kahara, Vilma Nissanen, and Katri Liilenpura. Vuokatti ski team Kainu escaped a victory in the second leg thanks to Vilma Nissanen's strong skiing. Nissanen escaped from everyone else, bringing her team to the second change with a lead of about 26 seconds. It has been a good feeling all day and it was nice to come skiing, Nissanen commented on Viaplay's broadcast after the race. With the anchor section, Katri Liilenpura was able to secure a victory in peace. I got surprisingly few breaks and I didn't know if I would be caught. Very nice to win at home, commented on Liilenpura Viaplay. For minor spots, there was fierce competition. Engadin of Kainu Ski Club reached the section about 3 seconds before Josmi Joensuu of Vantaa Ski Club. The difference remained the same for a long time, but in the end Joensuu finished in second position and was stronger than Kilo in the final straight. The race from Vantaa Ski Club was opened by Anni Kainalainen and the other legs was skier Marjana Pitkänen. The corresponding legs for the Kainu Ski Association were skied by Joanna Ukkola and Heini Hokonen. Now, the race report and results for the men's race. Team Jana won the men's 3x6 km team relay at the Finnish Cup. Aku Nikander, Lauri Lepistö, and Risto-Matti Hakola. Niilo Moilanen took the lead from the opening leg. Reflected Ski Team's second team Juuso Mäkelä came in second and Matt Kirpinen of Imatra Athletes, who suffered a broken pole, was third. Jana was seventh at this point, 3 seconds from the leaders. In the second leg, Puijon Pertu Hiverinen quickly skied to the top. Both Shaman Lauri Lepistö and especially Imatra's Remi Lindholm actively skied the section. Lindholm was the first to switch to the second exchange. At this point, the top 3 had escaped decisively from the other teams. In the anchor section, Risto-Matti Hakola did only what was necessary and won. Imatran Villahonen challenged well and came second. Puijon Joona Sarkkinen came third in the finish, 8 seconds behind Jamie. And that's all for today. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Spotify and Instagram. Just type Nordic Sports News on these platforms and access our content. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow in the next episode. Information credits for Nordic Mag, TAS, XC Ski.de, Fondo Italia, SVT, Ski Nordique and Stavi Jurilu.